Disney World's getting ready to change in some big ways. Again. And while we're definitely looking forward to some of these changes, others not so much. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Okay, so terrible Disney changes are not 3 words you want to see in the same sentence together, and yet the changes that are happening over at Disney World in 2026 might be enough to make you groan and wish that Disney would never make another drastic change ever again. Sorry though, not gonna happen, but what is gonna happen is that we're gonna show you what changes are going to be impacting the Orlando parks next year and how you can navigate around them. Who knows, you might even like some of these terrible changes. You'll see what I mean soon enough. Let's start with what I like to call Walt Disney World. Yep, the construction. Remember Walcott when Epcot was in its major glow-up era, but we had to feel like a mouse caught in a maze for a while as it was making its improvements? Remember when that happened over in Disney Springs when it was moving from downtown Disney into Disney Springs? Yeah, good times. Ironically enough, Epcot's not going to have any construction walls next year that we know of yet, that is, but every other Disney World park will. Of course, Animal Kingdom's going to have these walls up as it starts to get really serious about that Pueblo Esperanza update, and Hollywood Studios already has them up around the old Muppets courtyard area, while Imagineers start to transform this section into that brand new Monsters Inc. land, which will feature the first ever suspended coaster for Disney, as well as, fingers crossed, my Harryhausen's restaurant? Maybe? Hopefully? The concept art better not be messing with my dreams of a Monsters Inc. themed sushi restaurant. Hollywood Studios also recently announced that the Walt Disney Studios and the Magic of Disney Animation will open sometime in 2026, but Animation Courtyard in Disney's Hollywood Studios will close on September 25th, which will include a permanent closure for Star Wars Launch Bay, as well as a closure of Disney Junior Play and Dance to make way for a fresh Disney Junior show. So that means we're going to be seeing a lot of walls over in that area of the park too, for what I can only assume will be the majority of 2026. Meanwhile, Magic Kingdom is sporting the most construction walls of everybody, since this park is busy creating not just one new land, but 2. The Cars-themed Piston Peak area and a land dedicated solely to Disney's most dastardly villains. But I'm not gonna lie, we were really crossing our fingers during Destination D23 this year, hoping we'd learn more about what's coming to the new villains area. And while we didn't get much, we did learn more about Disney's research trip to gain inspo for the up-and-coming land. And if those architectural details that Imagineers are looking into really are the groundwork for this new area, then this place is going to be spellbinding when all is said and done. Eventually, we're gonna be able to reap the benefits of these new locations and experience worlds, attractions, and food that we've never seen in the Disney parks before. But before we can get to the good part, we're gonna have to struggle through Walt Disney World first. Now, if you were planning on going to Disney World next year, don't stress over these walls too much. There's still plenty to see and do around all the parks, so a few blocked off sections aren't gonna ruin your visit. That being said, if Disney World is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you, or you're not planning on going back for a long time, you might want to hold off on booking anything just yet if you've got the patience to wait, and go to Disney World when some or all of these new lands are open and Walt Disney World is no more. We'll make sure to keep y'all in the loop as we learn more about the specific details regarding official opening dates for these things, so stay tuned and be sure to sign up for our free DFB newsletter so you never miss out on the latest 411 invading the Disney scene. Okay, listen, I already learned all the tricks of the trade for Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, and now you're telling me I have to be demoted back down to Grasshopper again after being the master for years? Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin is currently undergoing some massive refurbishments, and while we do know it'll be back up and running sometime in 2026, we don't know when exactly in 2026 we'll be able to test our blasting skills once more. But when it is back, expect new ride vehicles, new blasters, and new targets. Yep, new targets. So I'm going to have to relearn all the insider tips and tricks again that I once knew so well to make sure my galactic hero status stays firmly in place. Easy come, easy go. Thankfully, it sounds like these new targets will make all that training worthwhile and maybe even more fun than it was before, thanks to all the interactive and reactive targets that are going to trigger when you hit those various bullseyes. Not to mention, a new robo-companion named Buddy will be helping us through that initial blaster training process, so if Buddy has confidence that we can make it back to galactic hero status again, then who are we to doubt him? I do feel like I'm gonna need a Rocky training montage when I get back on this ride though. Anyone have any steps I can run up and down? Okay, so I love being in the loop about everything. That's why I started Disney Food Blog in the first place, is just because I just wanted to learn all of it. And of course, I feel the same way about Disney World, and I'm assuming you're on the same page as I am, which is why you're here, right? Now, the DFB team and I have created a free 12-month Disney World calendar that's going to give you the latest updates for what's going on in the Disney scene, from extended evening hours to festival overlays to even predicted Orlando weather patterns if you really want to start planning ahead. Just scan the QR code you see on the screen right now, or click on the link in the description for disneyfoodblog.com/WDW calendar after this, and we're going to send you that free 12-month calendar so you can really start planning. In 2025, Disney announced a really awesome perk for all guests staying at one of their hotels. On the day you check into your hotel, you and everyone else listed under the hotel reservation can go to one of the Disney water parks for free all year long. To put it in perspective for you, a water park ticket usually costs around $71 per adult and $68 for kids. So if you're able to take advantage of this deal, you can get what's normally a park day that'll put you back a couple $100 for a whopping $0 instead. So here's the good news, bad news about the free water park perk in 2026. The good news, it will be returning. So if you didn't have the chance to take advantage this year, you might be able to take advantage of it next year. Now, the bad news, unlike 2025, where you can use this hotel perk all year long, the free water park benefit will only be available for 2026 throughout the summer season, when they actually are probably going to open both parks, because what they ran into at the beginning of this year with this water park perk is completely overwhelmed water parks. Like, too many people, not enough spaces to park. So that's why they had to open both water parks. Anyway, long story long, next year, they're only going to let people do this perk during the summer when both water parks are open. So if you were planning on going to Disney World next summer anyways, then this change may not be so terrible for you. But if you were planning on going during any other season in 2026, plan to pay out of pocket for those water park days that you might want to tack onto your itinerary. This is it. We're coming to the end, my friends. DinoLand USA in Animal Kingdom is in her final days. DinoLand USA has been closing in phases since the beginning of 2025. First, we lost Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasures, Triceratops Spin, and Fossil Fun games. Then we lost the Boneyard, and now there are only a few months left for us to experience what's left of DinoLand, including the Dinosaur Ride, Restaurantosaurus, Bless Its Little Heart, Dino Bite Snacks, and Trilobites. So goodbye ice cream sandwiches, goodbye buffalo chicken chips, goodbye guitar-playing paleontology students, and goodbye Dr. Seeker. I might miss you most of all. Just kidding, I'm gonna miss the ice cream sandwiches the most. Now, all this second hack job of Animal Kingdom is gonna look real drab throughout all of 2026. Good things are in the works over here. Because by 2027, Pueblo Esperanza will open, bringing a Tropical Americas themed section to the park, which will have rides and attractions that are all about IP like Indiana Jones and Encanto, as well as extra themed elements like a large storyteller's fountain, a wood-carved carousel, and the biggest ever quick service location to ever grace Disney World property. I cannot wait. I don't know about y'all, but Pueblo Esperanza has me pretty hyped. That being said, it is a bummer to have a chunk of Animal Kingdom, one of my favorite chunks of Animal Kingdom, by the way. I've always been a DinoLand girl, completely unavailable for those who are visiting in 2026. Okay, how are we feeling about the Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets concept art so far? Good? Bad, somewhere in the middle, cautiously optimistic? Just in case you haven't seen it yet, let me show you what I'm talking about here. Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets will be coming to Hollywood Studios in 2026, replacing the current Aerosmith theme. This new version will be, as Disney puts it, fueled by the tasty tunes of the Electric Mayhem and the high-speed hijinks of the Muppets. So far, we've gotten to see glimpses into the queue line, where Scooter and his team of audio engineering penguins will be doing their best to manage some rather restless fans while trying to track down the Electric Mayhem before their big headliner show in Hollywood. And we've also gotten to see the outside guitar revamp, where everything's going to be looking a lot more psychedelic. Now, do we get glow bands before the ride too? Because the concept art guests have them, so I feel it's only fair that we should get them, right? Now, there's a lot to love about this reveal so far. For starters, we get to keep the Muppets inside Hollywood Studios, even after they were kicked out of the Muppet Courtyard area to make room for Monstropolis. And it seems that we're getting a few Muppet animatronics inside at least the queue area, which will be fun. As far as during the coaster ride itself, Disney states you'll be able to see the iconic scenery and landmarks from Tinseltown, but with a Muppet twist. And with help from our friends at Muppet Labs and a very fast limousine, we'll take a twisting, turning, and screamingly fun road trip across Hollywood to reach the concert in time. So it sounds like several parts of the iconic rock and roller coaster ride that we know and love will still be around for us to keep on loving. However, that can also be a big reason to grimace at the idea of this major change. After all, we're not getting a whole new Muppets attraction, we're getting a Muppets overlay of an already existing attraction that's been in the park for years, similar to what we saw happen when Tiana's Bayou Adventure took over Splash Mountain. So while that Muppets overlay is going to be quirky and exciting to see come to life, it's also going to come with a lot of complicated feelings, because once the Muppets come around, that'll probably be the last we ever hear Love is a Roller Coaster blasting over the speakers at the end of the ride. And it'll be one less attraction created during the old MGM Studios days that'll be replaced. Thankfully, we still have until the end of 2025 to ride the classic rock and roller coaster starring Aerosmith, but after that, it won't be until later in 2026 that we're going to see it reopen, but looking a whole lot more Muppety. More walls. It's that time again, the time where I tell you about Disney World price increases and we all let out a big, long sigh of frustration. Recently, Disney went ahead and confirmed that yes, certain parts of our future trips will be more expensive going forward. For example, in 2026, the quick service dining plan is going to go up $1.33 for adults and $1.46 for kids, and the standard Disney dining plan will see an 89-cent increase for adults per day and a $1.16 increase for kids. Now, this is what those DDP prices are going to look like. The good news to kind of sort of counter these steep add-on prices, if you were planning on using the DDP that is, there'll be a few times throughout 2026 where you might be able to snag a free Disney dining plan deal depending on where you're from and who's in your group. Throughout 2026, kids ages 3 to 9 can dine for free when you purchase a dining plan with your vacation package for the other members of your group. This offer can be booked right now and will be available for vacations through October 2026. Also, for those traveling from the UK and Ireland, everyone under your vacation package booking will be able to take advantage of a free Disney dining plan as well. The deal will be lasting the majority of 2026 from January 7th to December 19th, so you'll want to look over those dates and take advantage of this offer while you can. Now, you don't have to invest in the Disney dining plan and be impacted by those price increases if you don't want to, but 2026 park ticket price increases are going to impact guests anyways. Per Disney's dynamic pricing calendar, we noticed that most park ticket days in 26 will fall in the $145 to $175 plus range for a single day ticket with no park hopping. Multi-day tickets will be slightly cheaper, but overall we're seeing higher daily ticket prices across the board, save for a few outlier days where park ticket prices actually decrease. So ticket prices have been increasing annually for some time, so we're always on the lookout for the cheapest days to visit. And as it pertains to Disney World in 2026, the cheapest days are going to be August 18th, August 20th to the 21st, and August 24th to the 28th, when those one-day, one-park tickets for Animal Kingdom are $119 and Magic Kingdom are $139. The most expensive days we've seen so far for 2026 fall on April 5th, as well as March 25th to April 6th around spring break and Easter season, with Animal Kingdom one-day tickets costing $179 and Magic Kingdom $199. Just to give you context, single-day ticket prices for Magic Kingdom during this same time frame in 2025 hovered around $184 to $189. So we're bumping up about $10 a day. If you want to check out the full price changes between 2025 and 2026, we've got a DFB post on our website now that goes in depth with these day-by-day differences. So I'll go ahead and link that post down in the description below. And the main point here is Disney World price hikes happen frequently and more often than not, silently. So make sure you've got safety funds added to your Disney World budget, maybe like $100 to $200 buffer, just so that any sudden price hikes aren't going to completely throw off your theme park budget. Disney World's lounges have been one of our classic DFB dining hacks for years now because if a table service restaurant has an attached lounge, it's usually a solid walk-up alternative to snagging advanced dining reservations for the main dining area. But in the case of Disney's newest lounges that opened in 2025, reservations for these are actually harder to book right now than most of the main sit-down restaurants across the parks, and will probably stay that way well into 2026. Beak and Barrel over in Magic Kingdom is the hottest lounge reservation to make at the moment. It's a Pirates of the Caribbean themed tavern, and it drops you into an extended story of the classic Adventureland attraction in a setting with lots of interactive features and interesting lounge bites and fun cocktails. Meanwhile, GO82 over at Epcot is an adults-only lounge inside the base of Spaceship Earth that gives you a beautiful look across the park with gorgeous handmade cocktails and bites of food to accompany your visit. Oh, and cooling scented hand towels before your meal. Why does no one talk about those? They're like the best part about this experience. Now, the problem with both lounges is that seating is very limited, yet the demand for them is still at an all-time high, so you're going to have to be diligent when it comes to booking those advanced dining reservations for either location. Not only that, but just recently, Disney made a huge change to Beak and Barrel, so now you can only book party sizes up to 8 people max instead of the whopping 20 that they used to offer, which is wild to think about now that we've seen just how compact this little lounge really is. So when you go to book ADRs for these new popular lounges, or just classic popular Disney restaurants in general, here's what to remember. Advanced dining reservations open up 60 days before your visit, plus however many days you'll be staying at a Disney-owned hotel. You get 10 extra reservation days max if you're staying at a hotel. ADRs start on the Disney World website at 6 a.m. Eastern, but you won't be able to call to make reservations until 7 a.m., and that hour difference could make or break whether you secure one of those popular resis or not, so go ahead and book online. And then also, even if you're not able to secure a dining or lounge reservation yet, persevere and keep checking back on a dining room status during those weeks leading up to your trip, because cancellations absolutely happen, giving you the chance to swoop in at the last second and grab those new openings for your group if and when they show up. Okay, so on the Millennium Falcon, Smugglers Run in Hollywood Studios, the pilot seat has always been the most coveted seat for guests. Meanwhile, most people usually grimace at the idea of getting stuck in the back of the Falcon as the engineer. There's just not as much to do in this position. Plus, you're sitting in the back of the ride while your fellow crewmates launch you into hyperspace or gun down the big baddies who are trying to steal your coaxium that you so rightfully also stole. No need to overthink the morals here. That being said, people like me love being the engineer. First off, there's zero pressure with this role. You just push a few buttons when they light up during the middle of your ride through, and after that, you just get to sit back and relax and watch everyone else in the vehicle do most of the heavy lifting. Or you can join in on screaming at the pilot to pull up, pull up, pull up. Also, the engineer's position is a much better seat for those who get motion sickness easier, since you don't have to stare at the surrounding screens all ride long in order to complete your part of the mission if you don't want to. Alas, the underrated engineering position is about to get a whole lot more popular. Maybe even more popular than the pilot position. Why? Because big changes are coming to Smugglers Run in 2026, and some of the biggest changes will be impacting the engineer. Coinciding with the release of the new Mandalorian movie on May 22nd, new missions featuring Mando and Grogu are going to be added to Smugglers Run. And as an engineer on this updated version of the ride, your big new job will be to communicate with Grogu himself all mission long. Okay, say less. Please let me have my engineer seat back. Now, while I'm pretty salty that my once underrated engineering position is going to be a lot more fought over in the future, I can't help but be excited about the chance to chat it up with Baby Yoda. Like, how often do you get to do that? Never. But no matter which position you end up with, every position on this ride will be able to experience the new Star Wars destinations that'll also be featured, including destinations like Bespin, Tatooine, the ruins of the Death Star, Coruscant, Beggar's Canyon, and more. And for the first time ever, you and your crew will get to be in control of the destination, like your own little intergalactic choose-your-own-adventure. I think I'll be gunning for Tatooine. What about you? Okay, so of all the terrible things coming to Disney World, this is probably the terriblest. Big Thunder Mountain has always been known as the wildest ride in the wilderness. But is it still going to be as wild as the good old days, or are those sharp turns and helixes No longer going to be able to shake a small kidney stone loose. No, really, that was a thing before. That's how herky-jerky the old Big Thunder ride could get. And if you want to learn more about the details of that, we covered it in an older video of ours called Absolute Lies of Disney World, which you should totally check out when you get the chance to, because it's fascinating stuff. Someone actually lost their kidney stone on this ride, but I digress. Let's talk about these Big Thunder changes. Big Thunder Mountain has been under renovation since January 2025 and won't reopen until a future date in 2026. Slowly but surely, we're learning more about what to expect when this ride reopens, either through Disney's concept art releases or just by seeing the ongoing progress with our own eyeballs, which used to be a much easier feat when the Liberty Square riverboat was still open. Anywho, so far, we know that the new Big Thunder Mountain Railroad will incorporate elements of the also new Piston Peak area to tie both of these Frontierland sections together, which will include soaring geysers and tire marks along the paths. Because, right, Piston Peak is going to be Cars Land, or a version of Cars Land. Now, we've also seen the Big Thunder track being replaced, which should provide a much smoother ride. Truth be told, many people will probably be thankful for a smoother track that doesn't rattle your head around or your internal organs. But change is change, and I know that nostalgia holds us tightly in its clutches and refuses to let go sometimes. So, if you're apprehensive about a Big Thunder Mountain that's both smooth and has some Pixar Cars connections, maybe this next Big Thunder update will help soothe that fear a little bit. Recently, Disney told us about a new effect that'll happen during the Big Thunder ride-through. When the trains rattle their way underground, you hear that? They're still gonna rattle, you'll be greeted by spectacular natural caverns full of phosphorescent pools surrounded by illuminating stalagmites and stalactites. Okay, this sounds familiar, right? It should. The Rainbow Caverns are coming back. The Rainbow Caverns were once part of the original concept for Big Thunder before it was constructed, and we're glad to see they're getting some love inside Magic Kingdom again. According to Imagineers, you'll also be able to walk through the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad geyser field for the first time ever and get a good look at those pathways and pools. So even if you're not a big coaster fan, you'll still be able to experience Big Thunder in a way you've never been able to before. Okay, yeah, it's not just the Disney World parks that are getting the Walt Disney World treatment. There's a good chance that the Disney hotel you're currently thinking about staying in during your vacation next year will also be impacted by construction, refurbishments, and closures. For example, from January 25th to the 31st, Disney Skyliner is going to be closed for refurbishment. I know, that one's a major disruptor, but fortunately the Skyliner won't be down for too long, and even if you are staying at one of the Skyliner hotels during this time, you will still be able to take a Disney bus over to Hollywood Studios and Epcot instead. Is it nearly as fun? No. But alas and alack, I'm still thankful for the free transportation. From January 2026 until late April, the Surfboard Bay Pool and the kiddie pool at the All-Star Sports Resort will be closed for regular maintenance, but the Grand Slam Leisure Pool will continue to be available, so you won't be completely pool-less here. Also, guests of All-Star Sports are always welcome to check out the pools at the other two All-Star Resorts, Music and Movies, so not only will you not be pool-less, you'll have multiple pool choices. Lots of guest rooms are going to get the old spit shine treatment. They're undergoing major refurbishments that'll stretch out across 2026 and possibly even beyond that. Guest rooms at Kidani Village and Animal Kingdom Lodge will be undergoing refurb from October 2025 to May of next year, and then Jumbo House rooms will be refurbished from May through January 2027. Some areas of Polynesian Village Resort and the Polynesian Villas and Bungalows are being refurbished through 2026. Over at Pop Century, guest rooms are undergoing refurbishment from late March 2025 to mid-February 2026, and potentially longer than that. Disney's Port Orleans Resort Riverside is refurbishing the guest rooms in the Magnolia Bend area of the resort from early April of this year through February of next year, and Bay Lake Tower at Disney's Contemporary Resort is currently finishing up a lengthy refurbishment that is supposed to go through July 2026. From January 26th through May 2026, the pools will be unavailable at Bay Lake Tower too, but during that time, the water offerings will remain open next door at Contemporary Resort for Bay Lake Tower guests to use. Now, Yacht and Beach Club. Their rooms have already been recently updated, but both resorts are currently experiencing routine exterior maintenance taking place until 2027. So what are the important things to remember about hotel construction, right? 1, most or all resort amenities should continue to be available for you to use even while construction is happening. 2, 2, while the Disney resorts that are currently working on updating their rooms will still be available for you to book during these times, rooms may be limited. So it's important to stay proactive and lock in those room reservations earlier rather than waiting until the last minute if you're waiting to stay at one of these resorts in the near future. And 3, starting at around 9 a.m. each morning, you might see and hear construction work in areas of your resort. Even if the sound of drills and jackhammers doesn't get to you, the overall eyesores of these areas could be super off-putting and pull you out of the overall immersiveness depending on how much you're spending. So you may want to consider booking a different hotel altogether or request a room or building in a different area that's potentially away from all the construction. While requests can't always be accommodated, it never hurts to ask about, and Disney usually tries their best to make sure those wishes of yours are granted, if they're grantable. Okay, so change is inevitable, my friends. That's one thing we know as Disney fans, but what's never going to change is how much we want to help you create the best vacation ever, no matter what the circumstances might be. So stay tuned for more Disney news and updates. Check out our other travel planning videos. And don't forget to download our 12-month Disney World calendar today over at disneyfoodblog.com/WDW calendar. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.